to me, this is as textbook pre-spawn as it gets. We're sitting in a creek channel, throwing up on a flat, and these fish are just, they're back in here feeding up on shad is what they're doing. There's tons of bait working around right here. I've got another one on now. And I mean, there's just all kinds of bait in here. I had caught a drum. I think I actually have a white bass. Yep, I've actually got a white bass now. There's a lot of people in here crappie fishing. That's the deal. Everything in the lake is back in here. The water's warm. There's a lot of bait, and they're just back in here getting their feet on. They're all thawing out from the winter time. They've moved to where the bait is, and everything in this system is feeding up in these kind of places. That's on this particular body of water. They're actually schooling, or no, that's some kind of diving birds right over there. On this particular body of water, some of the biggest schools of bass I've ever found, I'll catch drum and white bass in the same place where I catch largemouth. People don't think of drum being a bait fish eater. Dude, he is, and that's some of the biggest schools I catch. I'll always catch some white bass, and I'll always catch a drum or two in those same places where I catch a lot of largemouth. I got one too.
Doubled up.
Kyle, if you can get one, we'll have 3. What you got, DQ?
Got a largemouth.
Yeah. One on the vibe, one on the tiny. It doubled up right there. There's definitely a little wad of fish there, ain't there?
Yeah, I would say there is.
How many bites did you miss the cast before?
3.
That's what's funny.
I'm definitely a little rusty right now. I've been ice fishing too much.
Hey, but they'll slap at it sometimes. You'll just have that. They'll just want to take a nip at the bait and not get it real good. But that's a lot of times. I mean, it's really subtle right here. But man, you can get places where there'll just be a wad of fish on a little bitty subtle. We're in a creek channel. It's a real shallow flat point. What are we throwing in? 1.5 foot of water.
Yes, yeah.
And sitting in 4. Right in there. See those? See the white dots with the shadows behind them? Those are bass. Those are definitely bass because we're catching them. Actually, looks like there's more on the left side of the boat now, DQ, than there is on the right. You see this over here? Mm-hmm. Take a cast right over there when you get in. Got him?
There he is. Another one.
You actually turned out a little bit on that one, didn't you? It's a little bit better fish. That fish came from out just a hair further. We're sitting here toweling down, and I think that's the 5th fish we've caught.
Guess what hook he bet?
Which one did he get, DQ?
The one with the blade. Imagine that.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool.
Isn't that cool? That's one of the coolest things in the last few years. I think you found him on.
I think we found a spot. That was why I came back in here. We were catching fish consistently out on the channel, fishing those little points and stuff. But the deal with coming back in a big creek like this is if you find them, then you can find a wad of them. Now, we've not caught any giants yet, but it's pretty fun.
I would say another thing is consistent is you as a fishing guide. You never let me down.
I try not to. I try to make sure you got something good to throw, and then and tell you where to use it.
Yeah, it's a good program.
Yep.
Come down and thaw out with you.
Yep. Where we're throwing up there right now, even with tiny or with that Arashi vibe, I mean it's probably that deep where our baits are landing. Reading 4.2 right here. So if I was on the trolling motor, even if I was on spot lock, and it adjusting, moving the water around and stuff a little bit, it'd be making a lot more noise than what I am simply by having my talons down. I'm able just to put those down, lock us into place, and we can fish up here. We can fish over here. We can fish off this other side where we're possible, liable to catch one. That's the great thing with that, just able to really lock the boat down and then fan cast all around. I can use my 360 I can actually see fish sitting in there and, just use that complete system to be able to work this area over because it's pretty obvious there ain't just one sitting right here. Tons of them. Yep. Largemouth bass species. Swing him in here before he comes off. They are in here everywhere, man. Up in this flat, we were actually over there. You got one? Yep. Yeah, that is.
Oh no, it's a white bass.
Oh, is it a whitey? Yep. Get back in here. Is it a white bass or is it like a, yeah, it's a white bass. Fish everywhere.
Oh boy. It's a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice little.
Yeah.
Feel free to get that out in front of that GoPro 2 down for that's kind of a fun
It's
wide
got
angle.
Nice whitey. They're fun.
Yeah.
Pull hard. Bait good too.
Ooh, you son of a gun.
Got him? Digging?
Step forward on that GoPro.
She got deep.
Nice bass.
Looks like a nice one on it. On the vibe. Oh yeah. Well, these fish are over here. I've seen what's down there, and it's nothing. These fish are on literally nothing. Oh yeah. That's a chunk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Look at that one. Nice work, DQ. Pre-spawning.
Well, thank you, Ott. Thank you for bringing me here and giving me the ride with the lure on it.
Definitely good work. You still had to make him bite.
And guess what hook he bit? Again.
You got one on the bladed hook there?
Bladed hook.
Even dirty water. He still bit the bladed hook, didn't he? It's interesting.
It's cool.
So this area back here, I mean, I've got my mapping. I can see that, and I know because I've seen it with my eyes. It's all very shallow. It's all very flat.
Sorry.
I'm about to get but I don't I don't need my 2D on because I mean we can do this and see how deep it is, and it's all very shallow, and my 360 is actually really quiet. That 2D, it definitely makes some ping. Those fish were feeding heavy right here until we pulled up over here. We're still getting bit. And I'm actually going to turn my 2D off up here as well as on the bite just to be that much more stealthy because we're this deep, and when you're that shallow a lot of times, that pinging, it's just a little bit more noise than what I like in the water. So I'm just going to click that sonar off and go from there and just kind of ease around back in this flat and try to keep these guys as quiet as I can. It's really hard though. There's like a million fish right over here. I don't know what they are, but
Boy, it's happening back here.
yeah.
What a life.
Yep. Told you that there was a pile of fish right over there. You got one too?
Oh.
I switched up colors because that big shad, oh, that's a chunk. That big shad back here in this dirty water and getting low lights, getting towards the evening. Just kind of felt like maybe they weren't seeing it quite as good as I wanted them to. That's a good indication. He saw that bait pretty well, I would say. Definitely well enough to get a good take on it. A little tiny classic crawl. So many fish are caught springtime on red baits like that, and that is just a dynamite color. We've got it a little tiny there. Black back, red sides, gold and orange on the belly. Nice fish.
Ooh,
Right here, close.
Whitey McGee.
Yep. That's DQ just mentioned how white this fish is, and a lot of them are. These fish are so light colored. This water's dirty, but they're just pulling back in here. I mean, these fish have spent their winter out in, 8, 10, 15, maybe 20 feet of water, but they're just sliding up into here, warming up, feeding on these shad. That's why you can sit still in a place like this with your talons down and fan cast around and truly never wear them out because they're never sitting still anywhere. Schooling in March. Come here, buddy. Look at that. Just pinned him right with in the bottom lip. Not going anywhere with that hook. That's such a good feeling. With this, I had this rod rigged up just for an occasion like this. It's the same Arashi vibe, but it's on 17-pound line because it's 1.5 feet, 2 foot deep. You could really throw it on 20 back here and help keep it up. But that's something I'll do a lot with a lipless. I'll do it some with a crankbait, but especially a lipless. if I'm wanting to keep that bait up, man, all you gotta do is up your line size, and you're gonna take 6 inches to a foot off the diving depth of it. So it's an easy way to manipulate that, just simply with your line size. I mean, that was almost a topwater bite. Oh. Almost a topwater bite. That's a pretty good fish there. Look at how he's got it eaten too. You think he tried to suck it in head first? He tried to, didn't he? I love bass fishing in March. In case you didn't know that already. March in East Tennessee. It's my favorite time of the year. You can take this same program though and apply it to wherever you live all across the country. You know, you get that water in the anywhere from the low 50s, upper 50s, and it's going to work anywhere across the country. Take these same kind of baits, get in these same type of places, use your electronics, find out what that pattern is, and be there at the right time. That's a big deal, and this time of the year's the time of the day those bite windows open up. I'll bet you anything, first thing this morning, you wouldn't have done much back here. Not that these fish weren't here, but they just weren't doing much then. But here it is, late in the evening, and they are absolutely chewing.